राधा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी 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 यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौर निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। मुखं करोति वाचरं भंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमां वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत। हरे कृष्णा डियर डिवोटीज।
Hare Krishna, dear Swarup Krishna Prabhu. I'll just give a quick intro. Hopefully my voice will be audible on YouTube also. So Hare Krishna everyone. First of all, congratulations everyone. We made it through the first canto. We are done with first canto, but it was so amazing. It was so nice. It took almost 3 years. Jai. And today we are starting with second canto. We will miss first canto. It was so nice, to hear so many wonderful devotees speaking about so many verses. And now we are starting second canto. And today we have a very special speaker, His Grace Swarup Krishna Prabhu. He has come all the way from Mayapur Dham, Kolkata Dham, and he is Sri Radha's father. I think most of you all know. My father-in-law, of course. And he's even though father-in-law, but I consider him as my father, very inspiration. So he has prepared wonderful slides. This is for the first time in the history of Sravanam Saturday, we will have slideshow on the second canto, first chapter, first verse. So big Hari Bol to Swarup Krishna Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Verse 1. I will directly go into the verse itself. So, the verse goes like this. Sri Shuka Vacha Varyan Esate Prashnaha Krito Loka Hitam Nripa Atmavet Sammatah Pumsam Srotavyadishu Yaha Para. Sri Sukha Vacha Varyaneshate Prashnaha Krito Loka Hitam Nripa Atma Sammatah Pumsam Srotavyadishu Ya Para. Anybody? Sri Sukha Vacha Varyani Sate Prashna Krito Loka Hitam Nripa Atmavet Sammatah Pumsam Srotavyadishu Ya Para. Sri Sukha Vacha Varyaneshate Prashna Krito Loka Hitam Nripa Atmavid Sammatah Pumsam Srotavyadishu Yah Para. Vaishnavi. Sri Sukha Vacha Varyanesh te prashna. Krito loka hitam nripa. Atmavid sammataha pumsam. Srotavyadishu ya para. Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists." See, this translation can be broken into 4 parts. First part is, your question is glorious. Second part is, it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. Third, the answer to the question is the prime subject matter for hearing. And fourth, it is approved by all transcendentalists. And we will try to do some justice to these 4 points. Next slide, please. Srimad Bhagavatam, we just finished Canto 1, and Canto 1 was on creation. Basically, the principles of creation was discussed in Canto 1. And Padma Puran says that the first and the second cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, they represent the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So, wonderfully, both these cantos, they start with same invocation. The invocation is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Third slide, please. So, the Canto 2 is titled The Cosmic Manifestation. And Chapter 1 is the first step in God realization. Same invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, this is basically a 12-syllable mantra. Hare Krishna is a 16-word mantra. How many syllable? 32 syllable Maha Mantra. And this is a 12-syllable mantra. And here the Vasudevaya, Srila Prabhupada is writing like this in his purport, means to Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. We will discuss about this during the course of this discussion. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, when we go to the 4th slide, please. This reminds me of Dhruva. See, one particular pastime of Lord Chaitanya has always attracted me. He used to go to Tota Gopinath Mandir in Jagannath Puri when he was staying in Jagannath Puri. Ganadhar Pandit used to stay in this particular temple, Tota Gopinath temple out there in Jagannath Puri. And Lord Chaitanya used to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam read by and discussed by Gadadhar Pandit daily. And he used to prefer hearing about 2 pastimes, 2 children. One is Dhruva Maharaj, the other is Prahlad Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj, I used to always wonder, why Dhruva Maharaj? What is so special about Dhruva Maharaj? All right, I understand. He was given an initiation with this particular mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But then, what attracted Krishna first time during the pastime, Krishna next time during Lord Chaitanya's Leela? So, what is attracting the Lord so much? So, this particular verse and Dhruva Maharaj's pastime also is related to a certain extent, like this. So, Dhruva Maharaj has a question. And This question is based on an intense desire, material desire. But he has a question. And Narad Muni has an answer. And Narad Muni's answer is so relevant for us. We will discuss about that. Then Dhruva Maharaj attained perfection by following his spiritual master. And what is most important is, as Nectar of Devotion talks about, Sri Krishna Akarshini, Lord got attracted to Dhruva Maharaj. And what is the Falashruti? I have mentioned the Falashruti, that when recitation of the narration of Dhruva Maharaj is performed without professional motive, the reciter and audience become perfect. Now, in this particular verse also of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, here also it's mentioned, there is a question and there is an answer. So one who is questioning, one who is answering, both get benefited. Next slide, please. So about Dhruva Maharaj, how did this question come about? Who is Dhruva Maharaj? So let us go and let us understand his family lineage. Brahmaji is the first and foremost living entity in this universe. His son is Manu. And Manu is the ruler of this entire universe. Manu's son is Uttanpad. Uttanpad is also glorious, and he is also emperor of the entire universe. It's not just this little bit of piece of land or this particular globe, which is the earth globe or the Bhumandala. No, the entire universe. And there is this little boy, Dhruva. Uttanpad had two wives. Suniti, elder wife, Suruchi, the younger one. Suniti's son is Dhruva and Suruchi's son is Uttama. One day what happened, both Uttama and Dhruva, they were sitting on the lap of Uttanpad. Father's lap, any child would like to sit and enjoy. Father also enjoys. But here is Dhruva's stepmother, Suruchi, who comes and chastises Dhruva, says, you have no rights to sit on that lap because you are not born from my womb. Then she says something extraordinary. She gives an advice to Dhruva. She says that you have to approach the Supreme Lord so that you can be born from my womb, and then you have the rights to sit on the lap of your father. So this is the first time he got it. She was almost like what is called a Vartama Pradarshak Guru. When Dhruva cried and he was trembling and he did not know what to do, small child, 5-year-old child, he runs to his mother and mother picks him up and he complains. Then mother is also very glorious. Mother is Siksha Guru. Mother says, whatever my husband's other wife, Suruchi, has said, that's right. You have to follow her. You have to know, you have to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to understand who you are, what is your position. Then she also gave him an advice. You have to do some devotional service to be able to know who the Supreme Lord is. Dhruva Maharaj is a Kshatriya, small child. He walks out of the house and he goes to the forest because he has heard that in the forest, Supreme Lord, you come to know about the Supreme Lord. Lord is saying that this little boy Dhruva is like so determined, he wants to go and search for myself. He sends Narad Muni. See, that is the reason why we say that whenever we have an yearning, we want to know about self-realization, Krishna, in the form of Chaitya Guru, he sends a spiritual master. So Narad Muni came as a spiritual master. Initially, Narad Muni is the Siksha Guru, and Siksha Guru becomes the Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru gives him this particular Diksha of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Diksha Guru does something else. This is a small boy. He does not have any understanding of Vedic literature. Don't know whether he has gone to a Gurukul or not. So he does not know about the Lord. He does not know about the practice, the process of devotional service. So both Narad Muni gave him description of the Lord. This is the way Lord looks like. And gave him a process how to worship the Lord, how to carry out devotional service. Plus, obviously, also taught him all the details of Ashtanga Yoga. Yeah, both Ashtanga Yoga as well as Bhakti Yoga. Next slide, please. This is the Narada's answer. And Dhruva followed Narada's instructions to the dot, to the extent that he underwent severe austerities. And 6 months of austerities, while he was performing Ashtanga Yoga, he had a understanding or a visualization of how the Lord looks like. He rather created a form of the Lord, and he chanted this particular holy name, leaving aside all the necessary mundane activities that one needs to do, to the extent of even having food, standing on one leg, and he continued performing devotional service, and he attained perfection. What is this perfection? We will try to discuss. Okay, next slide. We know from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 44, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapahrita chetasam. What happens when you are interested in Bhoga and Aishwarya? Dhruva Maharaj developed a material desire to have a kingdom greater than anyone in his family, to the extent of Brahmaji even. So there is a material desire which started this entire process of the question of Dhruva and the answer of Narada. Now, Dhruva attained perfection. Somebody who has idea of Bhoga and idea of Aishwarya, how could he attain perfection? Because the verse also says, Vyavasaitmika buddhi does not, such a person does not attain Vyavasaitmika buddhi. Vyavasaitmika buddhi means like an intelligence to be able to perform or to be able to attain perfection. Now, Srila Prabhupada quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 20, verse 13. He says like this: one should not care very much whether he is going to be liberated or not, but he should simply execute the direct order received from the spiritual master. If one sticks to the principle of abiding by the order of the spiritual master, he will always remain in a liberated position. So this is the reason why Dhruva could attain perfection. The after effect of that particular perfection will be discussed later. But before that, there is an application for me. My spiritual master has asked me to scrutinizingly study the scriptures as instructed by Srila Prabhupada. So there is Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, and Bhakti Sarvabhauma. These are all subject matters which Srila Prabhupada said that one should be formally studying. So Bhakti Shastri I have completed, Bhakti Vaibhav almost getting a certificate. I am trying to enroll into Bhakti Vedanta. So like obviously one would also do Bhakti Sarvabhauma. What are all these? Bhakti Shastri has Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad. These are not basic books. These have also very, very deep analysis of devotional service, because wherever Srila Prabhupada, any book that Srila Prabhupada touches, he does not leave it at a mundane level. He goes to the highest possible level. And we will discuss that highest level in this particular understanding of this particular verse as well. Bhakti Vaibhav deals with the first 6 cantos of Bhagavatam, and Bhakti Vedanta next 6 cantos of Bhagavatam. So that completes entire Bhagavatam. And Bhakti Sarvabhauma is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So once you have done all these, then you maybe you can be a Kanishtha Yes. Next slide, please. So what is the after effect of this perfection? This perfection included what? It included chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Yoga. It includes entire middle portion of Bhagavad Gita, that is Bhakti Yoga. So there was chanting, and finally there was absorption. So that led to attraction. So Lord himself came down. When Dhruva could see Paramatma in his heart, and he was absorbed in dhyana of Paramatma in the heart, then Lord could not stay. Lord had to come down. Lord came down. When Lord came down, obviously, like Lord and Paramatma, they are one. So Dhruva is no more able to see Paramatma. Dhruva opens his eyes and sees the Lord himself in front of him. And Dhruva does not know what to do, because Dhruva has never studied all this Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav and Bhakti Vedanta. But Dhruva has already gone to the level of Bhava Bhakti because of Vyavasaitmika Buddhi. And Lord then touches Dhruva on his head with conch shell, and then Dhruva starts glorifying the Lord. And finally, Lord bestows all that Dhruva wanted. Lord gave him a place in Dhruva Loka. Dhruva Loka is a place where Brahmaji comes, because Dhruva Loka is the place where Lord himself resides. Brahmaji comes, Brahmaji can't enter into Dhruva Loka. He stays there is this ocean of milk out there, where Kshirodakshai Vishnu resides. And Brahmaji, whenever there is a problem, Brahmaji comes to the bank of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, bank of that ocean milk, and then he utters Purusha Shukta prayers and all that, and then Lord gives him instruction in the heart of Brahmaji. That's the way it happens. So Dhruva Loka is a place where even Brahmaji can't enter. That means Dhruva, this little boy, was given a place even superior to Brahmaji. So Lord bestowed even that particular boon. Then Lord also said that I will take care of your younger brother Uttama as well as your stepmother Suruchi. They will have to suffer. See, in this particular case, you have to understand one thing. One should not insult anybody. you do not know who will become a pure devotee. So this is a warning for us. Hare Krishna. Let us go to the purport of this verse. After having understood this particular pastime, let us go to the purport per se. The purport goes like this. Can anybody read the top part of the purport itself?
Even the very question is so nice that it is the best subject matter for hearing. Simply by such question and hearing, one can achieve the highest professional stage of life. Because Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Person, any question about him is original and perfect.
Hare Krishna. So, question. The question is so nice. Is the best subject matter for hearing. And by such questioning and hearing, what happens? One achieves highest perfectional stage of life. Why? Because Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Person. Any question about him is original and perfect. Similar verse we found in Canto 1 as well, chapter 2, verse 5, where the sages of Naimisharanya are asking Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami is like glorifying the questions asked. O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. Here we find the word Loka Mangalam. It is similar to the word Loka Hitam in the second canto verse. Only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying the self. Hare Krishna. So what are these questions that Dhruva Maharaj asked that is being glorified by Sukdev Goswami? So next slide, please. Oh, Parikshit Maharaj asked. Thank you for correcting me. So we go back to Canto 1. In Canto 1, we find chapter 19, the appearance of Sukdev Goswami, verse 37. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. Parikshit Maharaj has been given a curse that he will die in 7 days, and now he is seeking for an answer. Verse 38 says, please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me. So we know this famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So pariprashnena. So there is a question of to ask, humbly ask questions to your spiritual master. What questions? Do you ask mundane questions? Or do you ask questions about making your life perfect? So that's the type of questions you ask. Because Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra also says, Athatho Brahma Jigyasa. So you start with Brahma Jigyasa. Jigyasa is question, inquire about Brahman, about the absolute truth. That is the type of question, which is the reason why the question is glorious. And question itself leads one to go close to Krishna. Now what about the answer? Let us go ahead. Next slide, please. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the highest perfection of life is to achieve the transcendental loving service of Krishna. If a question leads to transcendental loving service of Krishna, it's a glorious question. If the answer is transcendental loving service of Krishna, it is Ekeha Kuru Nandana. Now, we know from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 47, that loving, transcendental loving service is the highest level of yoga. Correct? I tried to understand this transcendental loving service, and I came across some from Vanipedia and Vani quotes that it all leads to the discussion that Lord Chaitanya had with Ramananda Rai. And one particular verse 224 of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela goes like this. Great sages practice mystic yoga and they control their breaths. That is pranayama and Ashtanga yoga they do. And they initially they are able to do dhyana of super soul, like what Dhruva Maharaj attained, and then finally they want to realize impersonal Brahman. Even there are some demons who are killed by Krishna, they also attain a similar position. But what about devotees? So beautifully, Ramananda Rai is quoting this verse from Bhagavatam, says, however, the damsels of Vraja, the gopis, being attracted by the beauty of Krishna, simply wanted to embrace him and his arms, which are like serpents. Thus the gopis ultimately tasted the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord. And this particular verse is spoken by the personified Vedas. And they are saying, we follow the gopis in our, while like trying to attain loving devotional service. Following gopis according to nectar of devotion is Raganuga Bhakti. Because gopis, they are practicing what is called Ragatmika Bhakti. And one who follows the footsteps of gopis or the residents of Vrindavan, they are into Raganuga Bhakti. And without Raganuga Bhakti, the goal of sadhana bhakti means practice of devotional service, one does not attain. And what is the goal of practice of devotional service? That is bhava bhakti, ecstatic love. Okay, next we continue with the purport. Could somebody read the purport?
It was questions and answers about Krishna.
If you could read loudly, please.
Because questions and answers about Krishna elevate one to the transcendental position, the questions of Maharaj Parikshit about Krishna philosophy are greatly glorified. Maharaj Parikshit wanted to absorb his mind completely in Krishna, and such absorption can be effected simply by hearing about the uncommon activities of Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, such absorption can be effected simply by hearing about the uncommon activities of Krishna. So, we know this hierarchy. In the process of devotional service, we start with firm faith, that is Shraddha. Then, because of firm faith, we want to associate with devotees, sadhu sangha. Then we commit, bhajana kriya. And that leads to what is called anartha nivriti. There are 4 types of anarthas. Anartha because of sinful activities, anartha because of pious activities, anartha because of offenses, anartha because of improper devotional service. So most of the anarthas go away. They say 75% of the anarthas go away. Then you enter into a attentive phase, nishtha. So we talk about attentive chanting. Attentive chanting means you just hear the words that you are pronouncing. Early morning, the Skype call is attentive chanting. So you hear every word of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is basically the learning of the Skype call. Once you are able to do attentive chanting, means attain the level of nishtha, then automatically taste for the holy name develops. That taste is attraction to the level of attraction. So there are these 5 A's. Attentive chanting leads to attraction to the holy name. That leads to attachment. to the holy name. Holy name is non-different from Krishna. So this is attachment to Krishna. Now we are suffering from attachment to material existence. And the process of devotional service is asking us to attain attachment to Krishna. So there is a transformation, process of transformation which is involved out here. This will lead to absorption, which is what the purport. So Srila Prabhupada's purports lead one to the goal of devotional service. Every purport of his is an independent, independently complete in itself. Purnamada Purnamad idam. So it's complete in itself. The purport leads to the goal of devotional service, that is absorption. Manmana Bhavan, chapter 9, verse 34. Manmana Bhakto verse, where also the translation says, when one reaches the level of absorption, then you come to me. Yuktvaivam evasyashi yuktvaivam. So you come to me when you are able to absorb in me. That is how the verse goes. So this particular hierarchy of attention, attraction, attachment, absorption, which obviously leads to affection. Affection for Krishna will come when there will be prema. So affection is a two-way process. Affection has elements of the rasa. So affection is something which we will not be able to attain on our own. For affection, we will require guidance. For affection, we will require mercy. Now, nectar of devotion, if you go through, you will see, next verse please, next slide please. There are two ways by which we are able to attain Bhava Bhakti. One is continuous association with pure devotees. And two is mercy of pure devotees. So, Narad Muni exemplifies both. In case of Narad Muni, what happened? In his past birth, that is a kalpa earlier, he was a small child, 5-year-old child of a maid servant. This maid servant was taking care of or serving some devotees. This was during the month of Chaturmas, and these devotees were staying at one particular place, and maid servant was serving, and this little Narada, he was helping his mother, and obviously he was also serving. Little Narada was different. He was not interested in playing around, and he used to sit in front of these devotees, and they used to discuss Krishna Katha. Bodhayantaha Parasparam. And this little one used to listen to them. And they got so attracted to him, and once they gave him the remnants of their food, and this little one had remnants of their food. While having remnants, I mean, we know how they are the Mahabal. This even the remnants of food is Mahabal for anybody. So little Narada imbibed loving devotional service by that process. When these devotees left, they gave him instruction. Narada followed those instructions. Narada had glimpse of the Lord, and the Lord also spoke to him and said that this particular life you will not be getting more of me, but next life you will get my association to your heart's content. So Narada obviously is one who can very easily, he is the one who can fly down, and he can go to Vaikuntha planet whenever he wishes. So this same Narada, in this particular pastime, he exemplified, he showed how association with devotees help. Same Narada, he actually, like in other pastimes in Bhagavatam, we note that he has been showing mercy to others. For example, in case of Prahlad Maharaj, his mother was kidnapped by the demigods. Because the demigods thought that if his father Hiranyakashipu was so dangerous, so fearful, then the child who would be born from the mother Kayadu would also be so fearful and so fearing. So why not destroy that child? Narada stopped the demigods and took Kayadu to his ashrama and related Bhagavatam. And this child in the womb heard Bhagavatam. And you know how like Prahlad Maharaj became an ardent devotee of Nrsimhadev. Then this particular case of Mrigari. In case of Mrigari was one who was killing animals and not killing them fully. And these animals used to like suffer. And Mrigari used to enjoy the animals suffering. Narada could see that this is a very, very strange thing which is happening. So somebody would be doing this. He found out Mrigari, asked Mrigari, why are you doing like something like this? So abominable like this. Why don't you kill the animals completely at one go? He says that this is the way I have learned. I have learned to half kill the animals and make them die. Then obviously like Narada bestowed his mercy by asking him a question that so there will be a sinful reaction because this is a sinful act, and this sinful reaction you'll have to bear and you'll have to suffer like this. Then obviously like we know how Mrigari changed because of mercy of Narada. Later on, Narada came to meet Mrigari in his transformed form. And when Mrigari was approaching Narada along with his friend Parvat Muni, and then Narada was not even wanting to kill the ants which were like moving around on the ground. Then Parvat Muni said, because of mercy, our Mrigari has transformed, and this transformation has been such that he's got absorbed in not only the Lord but also the Lord's creation, the Lord's anything to do with the Lord. Next slide please. So what I have done is so much of discussion about Bhava Bhakti, absorption we are doing. Let me read out all the characteristics of Bhava Bhakti. So there are these characteristics of Bhava Bhakti which is there in Nectar of Devotion chapter 18. And there are this Sanskrit also which come from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So one who is in Bhava Bhakti, he is always reserved and perseverant, Shantir. He is always anxious to utilize his time in the devotional service of the Lord. He does not like to be idle. He wants service always, 24 hours a day without deviation. So it said ceaselessly and unceasingly and causelessly as well. So ceaselessly you perform devotional service. How do you ceaselessly perform devotional service? I mean, we have so many other errands to fulfill. So if we are unable to ceaselessly perform devotional service now, you should at least plan to be ceaselessly undertaking devotional service. If not today, sometime later. For example, today we have most of us are in Grihastha ashram. If we are in Grihastha ashram, there are so many occupational duties we have. So these occupational duties need to be performed. And if they have to be performed, so some time goes away. While performing also, we can be absorbed in thinking of Krishna, because absorption utilizes the mind and the intelligence. Because when we are cooking, we cook for Krishna. When we are buying, we buy for Krishna. When we are talking to somebody, say a phone call comes, we utter Hare Krishna instead of saying hello or whatever. So more and more we engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. That means we are fulfilling this particular characteristic. So he is always detached from all material affection. I mean, one need not discuss about this to that extent. This is called virakti, because we have discussed about asakti. Asakti should be towards Krishna, not asakti towards any material affection. He does not long for any material respect in return for his activities. Amanina manadena. So manasunyata. He is always certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him. Asha bandha. So Krishna will be merciful. Krishna is merciful. Say in case of Lord Chaitanya, he also showed his mercy to Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, when they were in Ramkeli and they were writing letters to Lord Chaitanya. We are in a very, very abominable condition. We are serving under Hussein Shah, a Mohammedan ruler, and we are unable to perform our devotional service to that extent. Lord Chaitanya himself came to Ramkeli and then instructed them to go to Vrindavan. Yeah, and we know so many other pastimes are there. Haridas Thakur, in case of Haridas Thakur, the way the Lord came. Kolabecha Sridhar, Lord used to come every day to haggle with him, because he used to sell all these banana leaves and banana whatever, various items, just to haggle, just to associate with him. Lord Chaitanya used to come. So this is all mercy of the Lord. So he is always very eager to serve the Lord faithfully. He is very much attached to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He is always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. He is very pleased to live in a place where the Lord's pastimes are performed, that is Mathura, Vrindavan and Dwarka. So we know this particular verse. Sangha Nam Kirtan Bhagvat Sravan Mathura Vas Sri Vigrah Shraddha Sevan. So Mathura Vas, see, there are 5 limbs of devotional service, and these 5 limbs are most prominent according to Nectar of Devotion. And out of them, Mathura Vas means residing at a place like Mathura, Vrindavan and Dwarka is highlighted. We don't live in Mathura, Vrindavan and Dwarka. Then how do we convert our the place where we reside into Mathura, Vrindavan and Dwarka? By several methods. By welcoming Srimad Bhagavatam home. So if you have Srimad Bhagavatam set at home, that means you have welcomed the Lord himself. By having an altar at home and doing deity worship. See, deity worship is so important. I did not realize that deity worship is so important in my life during my professional days. After I retired, I understood deity worship is so important, because I started doing serious deity worship, trying to follow the process, Pancharatra process. And it has helped me remove so much of my lustful desires. And this practical example I have myself realized, which is the reason why every discourse of mine or every discussion forum of mine, I mentioned about deity worship. Hare Krishna. Next slide, please. Purport continues. If you could read the purport, and loudly, please.
For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna's appearance, disappearance, and activities, one can immediately return home, back to Godhead, and never come back to this miserable condition of material existence. It is very auspicious, therefore, to hear always about Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we know this famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 9, Janma karma cha me divyam. So Srila Prabhupada is, mentioning this, repeating this particular verse in this purport. We'll go to the next slide, please. Could somebody read? Could read?
So
So Maharaj Parikshit requested Shukdev Goswami to narrate the activities of Krishna so that he could engage his mind in Krishna. The activities of Krishna are not different from Krishna himself. As long as one is engaged in hearing such transcendental activities of Krishna, he remains aloof from the conditional life of material existence.
Hare Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 17 talks about Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna. So by this process, what happens? All abhadranis go away. Srila Prabhupada, whenever he writes his purports, he does not write purports based on his personal feelings or whatever. He writes purports based on shastric references. So, and it's our job to find out which are the references and discuss amongst ourselves, so that we are able to purify ourselves. Next slide, please. Could somebody read?
the topics of Lord Krishna are so auspicious that they purify the speaker, the hearer, the inquirer. They are compared to the Ganges waters, which flows from the toe of Lord Krishna. Wherever the Ganges waters go, they purify the land and the person who bathes in them. Similarly, Krishna Katha or the topics of Krishna are so pure that wherever they are spoken, the place, the hearer, the inquirer, the speaker, and all concerned become purified.
Hare Krishna. So, Krishna Katha. And where do we get Krishna Katha? Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, more than Srimad Bhagavatam, from Bhakti Vedanta purports. And what is our job? This is a preaching movement. And Srila Prabhupada has said that he wants the entire world to become Krishna conscious. That is the only way by which peace can, there can be peace around. So what is he professing? If welfare activities have to be done, then you distribute my books. That is the desire of Srila Prabhupada, which we are supposed to be fulfilling. So these type of forums, these type of classes and home programs, these are the ways that we preach. And more such programs that happen, more and more of us get engaged in these type of sessions and distribute Krishna Katha. You know what happens, what will be the outcome. It is nothing but purification. Because what is Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 3 says, Nigama kalpa taror galitam phalam pibata Bhagavatam rasam alam muhu rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. So this is pibata, you drink Bhagavatam, and this is mature fruit of the entire Vedic concept, Vedic literatures. So more and more we drink Srimad Bhagavatam and the purports of Srila Prabhupada, we only progress in our spiritual life. Next slide, please. And that leads to Sri Krishna Akarshani in Nectar of Devotion. Srila Prabhupada so nicely he has presented this. Madan is one who brings about lust in us. So lust is towards the material existence. Madan Mohan, Krishna attracts even Madan. Yeah, and Krishna is also attracted by Madan, Mohan, Mohini. So it is, Krishna writes like this, Krishna attracts everyone. Devotional service attracts Krishna. Srimati Radharani exemplifies devotional service because every moment unceasingly she is only interested in pleasing Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is highlighting throughout his books, across his preaching, across his lectures, all conversations, morning walks, he's talking about how to attain the highest perfection of life. So more and more we read, more and more we come to know about this profound process, we progress in our life. Last slide, please. This is the month of Damodar, and we are almost ending. Maybe tomorrow will be the last day of Damodar month, and we have done so much of this pastime, again involving Narada. And we have this particular verse from Damodar Ashtakam, Kuveratmajau Baddha Murtaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajau Kritau Cha Tatha Prema Bhaktim Swakamya Prayacha Na Mokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha. Satyavrata Muni, he is asking about two things in all these prayers. He is saying, let me be absorbed in the mind, and we have been discussing about absorption in the mind. Then he also says, let you come in front of my eyes. And this is Sri Krishna Akarshani. Both of these we have discussed in this particular. And Satyavrata Muni is now saying that these two trees, they have been watching you all along. Because they were there in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul, and they have been watching and they were delivered. If they have been delivered, you delivered me also. This is the desire of Satyavrata Muni, and this is the desire of all of us. Why? Because by devotional service, you attain what is called Vasudeva stage, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse 54. And there is such a wonderful statement made by Srila Prabhupada in Canto 4, Chapter 9, verse 29 in his purport. He says like this, because on the Vasudeva platform, one can see God face to face, the Lord is also called Vasudeva. Hare Krishna. So with this, we have been able to understand the 4 points regarding this particular verse. One is the question, which is glorious. 2, the type of answers, which leads to Krishna. 3, the lokahitam, that is which benefits everybody. And the 4 is that it is approved by transcendentalists. Narad Muni himself is a transcendentalist, it's approved by him. And Srila Prabhupada is a transcendentalist, it's approved by Srila Prabhupada. Sukdev Goswami is a transcendentalist, it's approved by Sukdev Goswami. Srila Prabhupada quotes the Acharyas. Hare Krishna. If there are any comments, any corrections?
So what was the question? That Shukadev Goswami prayed, validating your question is glorious. What was that question?
The question is there in this particular verse that when one is about to die, then what one should hear, what one should do. This was basically the question.
Remember and worship.
Yeah. 1937. Yes. What one should hear, chant, remember, and worship. So manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mam namaskuru is what one should do, whom one should worship, and then what one should worship, what one should remember. Manmana bhava mad bhakto, and become a devotee of mine.
What we should do is to remember Krishna and worship. What we should not do is to not forget.
And not forget Krishna. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Means we should do things that are favorable. Anukuli Sankalpa. Not do things that are detrimental.
And then there is another question. What was that? That's about, yeah. Like, what is the duty of a man, especially one who is about to die? Yeah?
One who is about to die.
The
So,
sages asked Srila Goswami.
Oh, sages.
was-
oh,
Then Prabhu, you reconcile two things. Can you just repeat for me to make sure that I understand? First is how come Krishna is attracted to Dhruva's devotion, even though it's like karma mishra bhakti, the mixed devotion out of his mundane desires. So I understood. You mentioned that. Okay, just go ahead. Just repeat.
so you took out a very good point, Karma Mishra Bhakti, and Dhruva Maharaj started like that. Most of us are into Karma Mishra Bhakti. We have so many desires, material desires, and we are also trying to parallelly do devotional service. There are arthos and artharthis. We may be in distress and we may approach the Lord, or we may seek some assets, Aishwarya, and we approach the Lord. All that may be there in our heart. Dhruva Maharaj also had a material desire, but he followed Vaivashaitmika Buddhi. He followed his spiritual master to the dot. In the process, he got transformed. And he attained perfection. What is perfection? Perfection is absorption in Krishna. So in Ashtanga Yoga, there is this process called dhyana. Just before samadhi, there is dhyan. Dhyan is nothing but absorption in Krishna. In Bhakti Yoga, it is bhava, ecstatic love, absorption in Krishna. So because he got absorbed in Krishna, then Krishna got attracted. See, you can't enter into prema stage on your own. You require mercy of Krishna. But you have to attract Krishna.
You do your endeavor.
You endeavor is sadhana bhakti, then by mercy or by association, you will attain bhava bhakti. By attaining raga means when will you practice raganuga bhakti? Only when you know, na? When you go through Bhagavatam, when you hear Bhagavatam, when you hear Chaitanya Charitamrita, then only you will know. If you don't know, you will not enter into raganuga bhakti. If you don't enter into raganuga bhakti, you will not attain that mercy of devotees, pure devotees, or the association of pure devotees, which will lead you to absorption. When will you be absorbed in your mind? Finally, it is absorption in the mind. Because in chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna talks about engaging absorption in the mind and engaging the intelligence. That is who is dear to Krishna.
Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, don't try to seek Krishna, but act in such a way that Krishna wants to see you.
Absolutely, this is the right principle. Hare Krishna.
Like Yashoda Mai was so absorbed in churning butter for Krishna that she was using her body, her mind, her words, and doing Sankirtan. So Krishna was attracted, and his sleep was broken, and he came to Mother Sankirtan.
Beautiful. Yes, Krishna got attracted. Krishna came to see. There is this another pastime when Sanatan Goswami he came to Banaras outside Tapan Mishra's house. He was in a haggard condition. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Tapan Mishra to go out or Chandrasekhar Acharya to go out and find out who's come. And Chandrasekhar Acharya said, no one has come. I am seeing some haggard person out there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rushes out to meet him. He hugs him. See, if you see some of the pictures of Krishna, you will see Gopkumar. When he reached Goloka, then Krishna came running and hugged. Both of them are running, and Krishna is hugging Gopkumar. The entire process is Krishna getting attracted. That is prema stage. Huh?
Leper was.
Yes, yes, Vasudev leper also. Same thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets attracted.
Lord Rama's attraction.
Sabari's case. Now, Sabari's case, if we discuss Sabari's case, I heard this very recently. Sabari was eating those berries, then offering to the Lord. And normally we don't, whenever we offer to the Lord, Radha Nadabar, we don't taste and then offer. Do we? We don't. Then how come Sabari's offering was accepted by the Lord? Devotees are saying like this, Sabari was obviously Sabari followed Vyavasaitmika Buddhi, because Sabari was instructed by her spiritual master that you'll have to wait for Lord Rama to come. That is one. Number two, Sabari was chanting the name of Lord Rama. By chanting, her mouth became pure. So when she was having those berries, since she was chanting always, mouth having become pure, so whatever she was offering to the Lord was pure. Hare Krishna.
You are also chanting.
So I have to learn how to chant. I have not yet learned how to be absorbed in chanting.
I mean, they are on the platform of Raganuga. They are spontaneously.
Yes, spontaneous.
Spontaneous, there is no rules in it.
Yeah, correct.
Like Sanatana Goswami was also offering that.
Rajapati.
Dry chapati, please put some salt.
And,
Also ask Babaji.
and Sanatana Goswami says that you arrange your salt. Hare Krishna.
Today you will ask for salt, tomorrow you will ask for something else.
Yeah, I just want to
Mokshidas Babaji scolding his devotees.
Which one the
You need to protect the. It was stolen something.
some goods were stolen from this house.
Now I'm not going to eat offer you anything because you didn't protect my pots.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu, the Dhruva got transformed before he saw the Lord, right?
Dhruva got transformed.
Yeah.
Then he could see the Lord in the heart. That means he attained the dhyana stage, absorption stage. Lord got attracted.
It's not like he got transformed when he saw the Lord, because then the Lord.
Which is the reason why I mentioned about those 5 A's. You do attentive chanting, then you get attracted to holy name, then you get attached to Krishna. So all your material attachment goes away. Then when you are attached to Krishna and his devotees, obviously, they help you to be absorbed. On your own, we can't be absorbed. They will help you to get absorbed. Then Krishna will help you to attain affection.
Then the other, you mentioned, you reconcile another thing that Dhruva, one who is attached to the material sense gratification and opulence, the resolute determination in devotional service does not take place in Bhagavad Gita. But how he was so determined, that was what was
Because of Vyavasaitmika Buddhi, because he followed his spiritual master
following spirit.
to the dot.
But why he was so determined? Oh, because he was determined to get.
He was determined to get.
But
Initially, he was determined to fulfill his material desires. But while practicing, he went through that process of attraction, attachment, and absorption. Yes, yes, beautiful. That's the verse. Yes. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpataru vescha kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
thank you, Prabhu. All of us very insightful and so many points.
Prem Sundar Prabhu ki jai.
Nice class, we want to hear more.